So the final question, so saying all the history parts, the language parts, and the obstacles of learning Latin, what are some of your advices of learning Latin after teaching for so many years?
I think that the so many years is key, because I know my answer is different than it would have been 18 years ago. I think that 18 years ago I would have said the primary benefit of Latin is learning vocabulary and language. And while there is benefit to both of those things, I think if we look and think big picture, there are much better benefits of Latin, or better ways to think about it. So yeah, it's true that you probably will increase your vocabulary. You probably will become a little bit better at not just reading but writing from being exposed to Latin grammar. But I think more importantly, one thing to keep in mind when reading Latin is that at the end of the day, all the memorization is not the point. It's just a tool. The point of, let's say, architecture is not learning how to use hammers and saws. Those are just tools carpenters can use to build things. The point of basketball is not dribbling. That's just one skill in the sport. So in the same way, memorizing grammar and vocabulary are just tools to learn Latin better. They're not the point of Latin. The point of Latin at the end of the day is reading and hopefully enjoying stories. And so I think we should never lose sight of that it's never about being a perfect master of grammar. It's just about doing the best you can within your knowledge of the grammar to read stories, understand them, and hopefully take something beneficial away from them, whether it's a greater understanding of history, whether it's just the sheer enjoyment of the plot of a story. You know, you could just think to yourself, the Aeneid's pretty interesting, I'm glad I'm reading this. You could think with Caesar something like, wow, the Gallic culture was very different and pretty interesting too. So just to think about the stories and to think about that we always learn from stories. Sometimes we learn, good things like positive benefits, values. Other times we learn things that are reminders of how we don't want to act or things we don't want to do. And I think stories are amongst our very most powerful tools of learning and also of morality. So I think at the end of the day, nothing in Latin is more important than reading stories, thinking about them, and enjoying them.
Yeah, I agree. Latin is just a masterpiece of language. Thank you so much, Mr. Davis.
Thank you, Roger. It's good talking.